Go, go. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
If you don't know this man in the department, you need to know him, Mr. Clyde Duncan. Dr. Duncan, how you doing this morning?
All is well. All is well. Can just a little clap, just a little bit. Thank you for that. Thank you, Professor Mitchell. Awesome.
You're welcome.
And hello, and welcome to everyone. And I know that we are streaming across different time zones around the world. So good morning to some, good afternoon to others, and good evening to the rest. But let me preface by just introducing myself formally. I am Clyde E. Duncan Jr., the internship coordinator for the School of Communication at Texas Southern University. My motto is, if I can help someone as I pass along, cheer someone with a word of song, tell someone that they're traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Can I get an amen? Amen. I say it to myself. Amen. But I would like to give reference, if you will, to our distinguished dean, Dr. Raquel Brown Burton, to the associate dean, Dr. Chris Ulassi, to the assistant dean, Sabrina Sandifer Walker, and to all of my colleagues and the students in the School of Communication at Texas Southern University. Just a quick background on myself. Some would say that I am TSU. Did y'all hear me? I said, I am TSU. My father is the legendary track coach, still going strong here at Texas Southern. My mother was Miss TSU back in the 1960s. I have two daughters with degrees from Texas Southern University. My sister has multiple degrees from TSU and has held several positions at the university, including assistant dean for the Honors College, the assistant director for TSU Student Academic Success Department, not to mention a year as the internship coordinator for the School of Communication. And I have 4 degrees from the institution. I've been employed at the great institution since 1997 and had the good fortune of serving and being a part of the School of Communication since the year 2000. I've served as the internship coordinator since the year 2016. And this has given me the opportunity to develop just wonderful relationships with those who are truly passionate about the matriculation of our students as they move from college to their careers. And no one more so than our keynote speaker during this time, during our hour, Career Power Hour, the director of the University Career and Professional Development Center at Texas Southern University, the second largest HBCU in the nation, located in the nation's 3rd largest city, Houston, Texas, that is. I'm talking about none other than Andreas Boyce. And Director Boyce, I'm not through, Director. I got some more to talk about now. We're going to introduce you right. Over 20 years experience serving HBCU scholars and has a proven track record of success, motivation, career placement, development of student and the alumni in technical and soft skills. Under her guidance, her alumni have gone on to top corporations across all industries and has catapulted their careers above their counterparts. Director Andreas has shared her voice and expertise both with HBCU and PWI spaces. In turn, her wisdom covers the entire educational spectrum, including but not limited to corporate partnerships, scholarship endeavors, university alliances. Oh, she does it all. But before embarking on her career in education, Director Andreas spent 16 years as a certified paralegal with several leading law firms across the country. She is also a proud United States Army veteran. Director Boyce brings a refined level of execution that any audience would benefit. That's that Baptist, if you will, that Baptist introduction there that I had to do. But I do believe, Director Boyce, before you speak, we may have a video highlighting the Career Center. So I'm not sure if we have that ready to go. If not, I know we want to hear from you. So Professor Mitchell, Professor Randall, I'm not sure if we're ready to go with the video. I know we're trying to cue it up, I do believe, but in the meantime, you can go ahead and share your words. Go ahead there, Director Boyce, my bad, go ahead.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a great time to be a Texas Southern University staff member. It's also a great time to be a student at Texas Southern University. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me and I want this to be a very interactive conversation. I don't believe in just doing speeches. I actually believe in someone asking questions and we can talk about it. I believe that there's nothing worse than sugarcoating, because sugarcoating is one of those things where I could say, well, you probably should go look for a job. But then when I say you probably should, what I really want to say is you need to look for a job and you need to look for one tomorrow. So in our office, we do not sugarcoat anything. We tell you the truth. We tell you when you're doing great, but we tell you when you're messing up as well. So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to invite me to come and speak. I want to tell you 10 Career Center facts that you should know. That's the first thing. I was going to do a PowerPoint presentation, but I hate PowerPoint presentations. So I thought, well, if I hate them, I'm sure the students may not want them as well. So I thought, well, let's just talk, and then that way we can get to the nitty-gritty of everything. So the first thing you need to know is we have moved. We are located right now in the student center on the second floor. We have seen so many more students now that we're located in the student center on the second floor. That is our temporary home for right now. We'll probably be transitioning over to the recreation center, so stay tuned about that. Our office hours are from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I have to put this out in the beginning because I had a lot of students that were coming at 5:30 and 6 o'clock. We are here from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Okay. The second thing is we've got Handshake. If any one of you don't know what Handshake is our career management platform where all of our jobs, all of our events, everything you need to know about the Career Center, all of our resources, everything is on our Handshake platform. If you do not have a Handshake account and you are a current student, shame on you. But guess what? We're here to help you to get the Handshake account. Right now, the video is ready. I'm going to play the video first, and then we'll talk about everything else in a few minutes. Video.
I'm believing it's on the way. It's coming. I know it's coming. I feel it.
It said video is ready. So, okay, it's coming. So the next thing I want to talk about is we've got opportunities right now in our Handshake account. I know it's going to be hard for you to believe. I know it is, but I'm going to give you the numbers anyway. And you're going to say, wow, if you don't believe me, you got to go on Handshake yourself. For jobs, for full-time jobs on Handshake, I have 17,160 full-time jobs. For internships on Handshake, I have 5,861 full-time internships. For fellowships, I have 584. And for cooperative education, I have 248. For full-time experiential learning, there's 3. For full-time jobs total and part-time together, there's 21,000 jobs. So we have more jobs than we have students at Texas Southern University. So my belief is that no student should graduate from Texas Southern University without a job or an opportunity, or be looking for an opportunity. I really do believe that, because I know that TSU students are well ready for the market. So the video is queued up now and is ready to go. And it's going to give you a little bit of snapshot of just one of our career fairs and one of the things that you can learn from the career fair and all the employers. Today is a great day to be a TSU Tiger. Today we have our annual career fair here September 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have employers such as Microsoft, we have Equitable Advice, we have Beastra Energy, we have United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, we have Shell Point Corporations, that's just to name a few. We have Johnson & Johnson, we have Empower Pharmacy, TSU Tigers to show up. So please come out to the career fair today. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We also have a new corporation called Watsilla Corporation. So please, Tigers, come out to see. It's a great day to be a Tiger. We will meet you here. Thank you.
The big day, the day that we have the career fair. We are here right now in the rec center with over 105 employers. Come out, you can get a free headshot. There's so many employers from Microsoft to school districts. My name is Dexter. I am a living witness that the career center will help you secure the bag.
Great. Fantastic. So that I wanted to show that in the beginning because I wanted you to understand that the employers are here at Texas Southern University looking for TSU students. This is not a mistake. They didn't come to us by happenstance. We work very hard to ensure that the employers to come out to meet students at Texas Southern University. The one thing we want to know, one thing we want to be sure about is what the quality of our students here at TSU. And the employers are eager and ready to hire TSU students. I just need to convince you that you are worthy of the hire. And so once you catch fire and make that understanding that you are certainly worthy of the hire, then you're going to be beating my door down saying, what is the next employer I need to be applying to? And that is one of the things that we want to stress to you, that the employers are here waiting on TSU students. The next thing I want to talk about, which is my number 5 tip, is we've got events. So not only do we help the students with their jobs and internships, but we also have events on our Handshake account. And we have at least 3 to 5 events every week. And so for the semester, so we put on about 110 events per year. So we have 3 and 5 events. So some of them are virtual, some are in person. So make sure that when you see that email that comes by that says Career Center, click on that, open up that email. I know you get bombarded with a lot of emails all the time, but decipher through the important emails. Anything that says Career Center, that equals job, that equals importance. So make sure that you open up those emails. So the next thing, number 6, is we even have appointments for you. So let's say you want to get your resume worked on, or you want to just talk about your career path. You can make an appointment with us in person or a virtual appointment at any time. You can also, what we love is just stopping by the office between 8 and 5. We'll be happy to make an appointment with you, or we'll see you while you're there when you come in. We have walk-in hours. And so there's no reason why any students shouldn't get what they need from the Career Center. The number 7 thing is we have clothing. And so we have a career closet here on campus. So that career closet is on campus. It's located in the Lanier West. and it's at the backside of Linear West. And so make an appointment to come and see us there. But we have two other ways in which you can get business attire. We are a partnership with Dress for Success Houston for the women, where we make an appointment for you, and you will have a personal shopper that will shop with you and get you a whole entire suit, purse, jewelry, everything you need, scarves, everything you need from head to toe, including shoes, to go out and secure the bag. We also have the same deal with career gear for the men. So we make an appointment and you do the same thing. Now, of course, with the men, they have less clothing to worry about. So you'll get a shirt, a business attire, business suit, and a tie. You probably won't get the shoe part. And so, but you can go out and afford the shoes now that you get the other things for free. So that is another area in which we help you with. We also we guide workshops. Now, I know you think you don't need to come to the workshops. I know. You're like, well, I'll come to it later. Well, guess who are at those workshops? Employers. The majority of our workshops are done by employers. We try to put the employers in front of the students at every touch point that we have possibly available. Because what we want the employers to see is how many great students we have. So make sure you come to some of those workshops, including our resume boot camps, mock interviews, things of that nature. Because now in this new digital world, interviewing has taken on a whole new animal. Interviewing is now virtually. And some of the interviews are through programs called Higher View, which you're actually interviewing through a computer, and the computer asks questions and then you have to answer them. So your inflections, the way you speak, if you're not projecting your voice, if you're fidgeting, if you don't have a good background, all those things come into play. So it's very important to come by the Career Center. So come to some of those workshops and we can help you master that digital virtual interview process. The next thing we have is, of course, we have career fairs. We're going to be having our career fair with the School of Communication on Thursday from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Right now, we are still in the process of getting employers to attend. It will be virtual. It was going to be in person, but we had to move it to the virtual format. And so it will be in virtual, and we'll be sending out the links tomorrow afternoon once we secure as many employers as we can get. And then if we have plan B. If we do not get enough employers for the virtual format, then we will move it over to April and we'll have it in person. So we want to make sure that we get a School of Communications career fair for you. And last but not least, we have headshots. We provide LinkedIn headshots to any student at Texas Southern University for 100% free. Now, it is not a fashion studio that day. It is a professional LinkedIn headshot. Now, we are only provided if you are dressed in business attire, because we want to make sure that whatever you put out on Instagram, whatever you put out on your LinkedIn profiles, that is in a professional manner. So we provide those things as well. There's really not a place that what we don't do is not that we don't provide. Now, let me say this. We are not a placement agency. Because if we were a placement agency, first of all, you get a job, everybody would have a job. We are a development office. We take you from where you are now. And if you follow our steps, by the time you graduate, you will not only be employable, you'll be more marketable than you've ever been. So we want to stress that we are not a placement agency. We are a development office, but nothing is better than when you graduate from Texas Southern University and you walk across that stage, you have somewhere to go on Monday. Because I say it all the time, you are going to graduate, but you got to ask yourself, where do you go next? And let me give you a snapshot of some of the employers that are on our handshake account. That's referring to School of Communications. USA Today Network, Alta Marketing, Millennial, the Disney Corporation, Cox Media, Financial Times, Austin Fit Magazine, Advanced Local, Argus Media, Epsilon, the Shark Tank, the Shark Group, Burns Entertainment and Sports Marketing, TikTok. That's just to name a few of them. Also, Tegna is one of those big firms. U.S. News and World Report, BizNow, iHeartMedia, Univision, National Journalism Center, the Low Group, Texas Monthly, and Harris Media, and Community Impact Newspaper. Those are just a snapshot of the employers that on our LinkedIn, that's on our Handshake account, ready and waiting for you to apply for those internships and full-time jobs. If you are an alumni that's on this channel, you have access to use our Handshake account as well. But if you're an alumni, just go in as an alumni, click on Forgot Password, put your new personal password in there. This is only for alumni. If you are a current student, you cannot use your personal email. If you're an alumni, you can. The personal student, if you're a student, it will catch it and it will block you, because we as a student, we put your information in Handshake ourselves. So there is no reason in the world for any student not to have a job when they graduate. So I'm going to stop here and take any questions that anyone may have and look in the chat. Maybe Mr. Duncan, me and you both can look in the chat to see if there's any questions.
All right, I'm checking it out. Let's see here. I got "You're the best," so I got that. So that's an excellent note there. So again, I want to thank you for what you've done for myself and for my classes throughout the years. How you have been passionate when you come through and speak to our students, but you speak to them with that real tonation as far as how they transition from college to their careers. And so I want to thank you for that first and foremost. And then also I want to thank you just for being there, because some of our students just need that push, and I tell them most time that you don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. And so I want to thank you for your passion as far as coming to the classes, speaking to our students, looking over their resumes, setting up all those functions like the resume boot camp that you've been putting on semester after semester, career fairs, not just for the School of Communication, but you're talking about the entire campus. So you're doing so much for the professional development of our students. And I just want to say thank you. And the contacts that you give and send our way have been awesome. But again, now we know that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So we want to make sure that our students are getting the skill sets that they need. And I want to thank my colleagues for doing what they're doing in the classroom, preparing our students as they transition. So I don't see any other questions coming through the chat. So I just want to make sure we got everything cleared up as far as the audio. So all is well. I'm not sure any students, anything you want to add, any alumni that we want to bring to the table.
I love to get the questions, because I think sometimes when you get the questions, that's something that a lot of students may have a question with, but are scared to ask. And so I just need one brave soul to ask a question about, the Career and Professional Development Center. Now, I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be real with you right now. I'm going to do what I normally do in Dr. Duncan's class. So this is the 411 of it all. Looking for a job, looking for an internship, looking for anything that's going to elevate you takes work. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to come and bring you anything. The only person that's going to bring you anything is the mailman. And usually it's the bill. So if you are really ready and want to succeed in your career, then you're going to have to do something about it. So, and I understand what fear means. I live in fear. I live with fear. I have struggled with fear. All those things, procrastination, all those things are tools of fear. That's all they are. So when you find yourself procrastinating, you should ask yourself the question of, why am I procrastinating? And get to the heart of it. Because a lot of times you're procrastinating because you're fearful of something. And you'll find that once you just do it anyway, you'll find that it was not that bad, or it was not as hard as you thought it was. But when you procrastinate in your mind, you build something up in your mind that's not necessarily real and that's not necessarily true, because you don't want to get started on it. I live with that. I understand it. And I wouldn't tell anybody that, because I used to feel shameful about living in fear and being so scared all the time. But I realized that me telling you can help you as well. And I've had to learn and work my way through it, because I know for sure if I do nothing, nothing will happen. That's just the truth. If I do nothing, nothing will happen. I look at the Career Center and what I do. This is not my passion. No, it is not my passion. I know people say, not your passion. Why do you do it? Because it is my purpose in life. It is my drive. My passion is gardening, golfing, and motorcycles. Those three things are my passion. That's what I love to do. I'll do it for free the rest of my life if I could. But my drive and my passion, my drive and my purpose in life is what I'm doing now. And that is to help students. That is to get you from raw material to the diamonds that I know you can be. I know this for a fact, because if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't have made my son transfer from another school to come to TSU to prove a point. Because for me and people like Mr. Duncan, the best part about it is we put our money where our mouth is, our children would hear. That means that we really believe in Texas Southern University, because we would never put our own children in any kind of harm's way. So knowing that, understand that we are here for you, because when you win, we win. And the easiest way for you to win, the easiest way is follow steps. Step one, make a visit, make an appointment with the Career Center. Come in. I don't care how you get here. Walk, crawl, however you get here, make an appointment with the Career Center. Come see us. The second thing is follow the advice. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. Follow the advice. There's no point of me working on you with your resume, working on you with your headshots, if you don't take the advice. And then we look at your resume again 4 months down the road, and your resume looked the same way it looked when we corrected it for you. And so follow the advice. Third thing is, we are not going to do all the work for you. There are some things you're going to have to do for yourself. I cannot apply for the job for you. I cannot do it. I wish I could. So, next thing you need to know, on Handshake, the two things that's really important about Handshake, we call Handshake is the lie detector test and the truth teller. And let me tell you why. Because on Handshake, once you're in Handshake, I can look in Handshake and tell me where you logged into, when you logged in, what you applied to, what jobs you applied to. It'll tell me everything. So when you come to me and say, I'm looking for a job, the first thing I'm going to do is go in Handshake and see when is the last time you've been on there. Now, if I see that you haven't been on Handshake, then I'm going to tell you the truth. You weren't really looking for a job. You were looking for advice. You were looking to talk about it, but you weren't looking for the job. And right now, in this climate that we are in, this is the best time to start looking for jobs. This is the best time. Do not waste this moment. We may not get this moment ever again. So while the employers are open and ready to hire students of color, we are at HBCU. We want to show them that you did not make a mistake by getting on this Handshake account and putting your positions on there. But it doesn't mean no good at all if you don't apply. You can talk about applying all day long, but if you don't apply, then I can't help you. I've had so many students that have come in, not just to see me, but my whole team to come in and say, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a job. And we show them all of the jobs that are on Handshake, and they leave us and say, I'm going to apply right now. That's what I'm going to do. Mind you, let me tell you what we do. We follow up. You hear what I said? We follow up. Do we call you back? No, we look in Handshake. We look in Handshake and we'll see, okay, yes, that student did everything we told them. Yes, that student uploaded their resume. My goodness, they're getting hits. Or we'll say, that student didn't do one thing we said. We look on LinkedIn, that student's not on LinkedIn yet. We look on to see if it's got a headshot, that student didn't do his headshot. So we follow up to see what you're doing. Now, at the end of the day, your career, your pathway starts with you. I can't make you do anything. Dr. Duncan can't make you do anything. It's our job to give you the tools you need to succeed. But you have to do your part. And doing your part means, listen, get off the ground, get off Instagram, and start working. Start working towards your goal. Because if you do not, you're going to graduate Texas Southern University two ways. You either gonna graduate with a job or you're gonna graduate without one. And you really have to ask yourself, which one do you want to be? And even if you say, I'm a senior and I'm getting ready to graduate and I don't have a job right now, get on the path. You can start on the path today. It doesn't take that, it's not that long. Go to www.tsu.joinhandshake if you are an alumni. Students, I've sent you 1,000 emails so you can look in any of your emails and see handshake on there. And then click the handshake. So one other thing, in handshake, a lot of the handshake information is going to your spam. Look in your spam. The next thing about handshake is employers get on handshake, and guess what? Employers start contacting you directly. Once you are in handshake, employers contact you directly. And we have over, I know, I looked about a week ago, we had over 500 employers that have contacted students at least 5 times. And you know what I get more than anything? Students are not checking their email. So that's not something I can fix. That's something you have to fix. And I know you get bombarded and I know you get overwhelmed and you get 1,000 emails. You always have to ask yourself, is this email going to get me to the next point that I want to be? And every Career Center email will get you to that next point. That's something I can guarantee. Because even if you don't come to this fair, even if you don't come to this workshop, there's always another workshop. And remember, the employers are the ones that are doing the workshops. So with that being said, I want you to take the reins and I want you to be confident in yourself and be confident in your abilities and understand that we're here to help you. We have a tagline that says, it's power, providing opportunities within everyone's reach. But the one thing you have to do is this. You have to reach for it. Because if you won't reach for it, you won't get it. And with that being said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please ask me any questions. There's no dumb question. It's just a question that you can ask, and I'll be happy to help you. And for the LinkedIn Learning, I want to mention for the LinkedIn Learning, if you go to our page, I'm going to put it in the chat. If you just go to our page, click on LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is 100% free to TSU students. Let me tell you what LinkedIn Learning is. So let's say that you are a journalism major and you want to get some certifications on writing. Why do you want to get certifications on writing? Because you want to be able to put that on your LinkedIn account. You want to put that on your resume. That makes you more marketable. Well, on LinkedIn Learning, they have certifications that you can take. They are 100% free. Seniors, the minute you graduate May 13th, they are not free anymore. So take advantage of them now. I'm going to tell you, let me say this to you. My son, he graduated from Texas Southern University. I told him, look on LinkedIn, take some of these certifications. He took a couple, but the major ones he did not take. Now that he's a graduate, he cannot take those courses for free. He just took one course that would have been free. It was $1,500. So take advantage of all those courses that you can take advantage of, because once you graduate, they're no longer available to you for free. So somebody had a question, do you have a listing for internships specific with people with disabilities or work with people with disabilities? On LinkedIn, on Handshake, yeah, it has a link on there that you can put in disabilities and all the jobs will pull up for that. Also, it has another little link on there if you're an international student and you require sponsorship. It'll have the link. You click on that and it'll pull up all the employers that hire international students. And if you have any other questions about the disability, please contact me and I can get a list for you. I can work with you to get a list for you for some employers with disabilities. Okay, and this says another question. Oh, I think I answered that question. I know there's some people on this call that I've worked with before. And one thing we can tell you for sure, when you walk through the Career Center door, you will not get turned away. I don't care what you get turned away at any other department. That is not my issue. But in the Career Center, you won't get turned away. Because what we want to make sure is when you walk in that door, you're going to get the service that you need. So when you leave out that door, you're going to be armed with the tools to go out and conquer the world. But you have to do something in order for that to happen. It will not happen by happenstance. It will not happen by osmosis. It will not happen because you dreamed about it. It's only going to happen when you do something about it. And until you do something about it, one thing we know for sure is if you do nothing, nothing will happen. And with that being said, I just want to empower you. I look at every TSU student as I'm the lighter and you're the match. And it's my job to keep clicking that lighter until the fire comes out. Some people I can click it one time and they'll get fired. They catch fire right away. Sometimes I got to hit that match. I got to hit that lighter over and over again. But guess what? I'll never get tired of hitting that lighter over and over again because it takes some people more times to catch fire. But what I know for sure is every TSU student has the opportunity to catch fire. It's just up to you if you want to be the match. Thank you. I appreciate you. I look forward to working with you guys. And I should be by tomorrow, I should have a drove of people coming into the Career Center left and right because they need our assistance and we're happy to help. We're located on the second floor of the Student Center at the Sterling Life Student Center, second floor in room 213. We'll leave the light on for you and wait for you to get here. Thank you.
Come on, let everybody say amen. That's what I'm talking about. That's outstanding. So I really do appreciate you, Director Boyce, and what you've done and what you mean to me and to our students. I appreciate your passion and your purpose. That's the word now. Your purpose for what you're doing. Not your passion. We found out your passion, but this is your purpose. So again, you're purpose driven. And one thing I have learned, we've been bringing in some of the speakers that you have been so fortunate to bring our way. So literally, we've been having in COM 330, Professional Development and Ethics, a mini career fair week to week, just based on the connections that you have and those who are coming to us, specifically for our students. And so once again, I'm learning also though, don't fill these positions. I think you said something about that in one of the classes. What happens if we don't fill the internships or the opportunities coming our way? What happens?
I am so glad you asked that question. That's why I love these questions. Let me tell you this. Employers are not just coming to Texas Southern University to hire only TSU students. Employers are going to students across the nation. Do you hear what I said? They're going to HBCUs across the nation to look for diversity. But we're in their backyard. We're the 4th largest city. We are in, most of the corporations are here. We are in their backyard. But if they do not hire you, you are considered product to the employers. Great product, mediocre product, bad product, but you're considered product. Employers are going to look for product. They're looking for you, but they will not stop at Texas Southern University. What they're going to do is they don't get product from TSU. They're going to go right down the street. And you know what I say, right down the street. I don't even want to call their name. They're going to go right down the street and get that product. If they can't get that product there, they're going to go to right down the street, about 3 hours away, 4 hours away to Louisiana to get that product. They're going to go to Grambling. They're going to go to Southern. All those employers are going to go to get product. So that's why it's so important for you to participate. That's why it's so important for you to apply, because if you don't apply, they're going to stop coming. Because what they're going to say, oh, the students at Texas Southern University are not interested. We've had this job posting up here for 3 months and we only got 1 student that applied. But when we posted that same job at Prairie View, I'm going to say it, at Prairie View, we had 35 students that applied. Now, mind you, the question is going to say, well, did Prairie View put it out better than TSU? Absolutely not. Let me tell you why. Because we got the baddest Instagram, I'm going to say, in Texas. In Texas, we post out so much stuff on Instagram and our social media pages, but more importantly, it's on Handshake. We send you out hot jobs of the week. All the time we do all those things. So nobody is sending the information out better than we are. Only difference in them is you. You're the only difference. So you have to make a difference in yourself. You have to look at that job and say, I am qualified. I am capable and I am ready, and apply for that job. And apply for more than one job, because you can't apply for 10 jobs and say, I didn't get the job. Listen, I have a student who was from UT who was telling me he applied for 150 jobs and he graduated in the top of his class. We have to beat that number. So I believe if you have applied for 100 jobs and you haven't did a real job search, and Handshake is not the only medium you should be utilizing to apply for jobs. You got Handshake, you got LinkedIn, you got Simply Hired, you got Indeed, you got family members, you got professors, you got staff. You have to utilize everybody within your willpower. You got to use your tenacity, you got to use your grit, you got to use your stamina to contact everybody, because we can only take one job at a time. If we get an offer, we can only take that one job. We're only trying to get one yes. But if you cast a wider net, you automatically catch more fish. So use that example as applying often and applying to as many jobs as possible. Now, listen, I'm going to say this one thing about when you apply to jobs, because I'm going to open it back up for questions. When you apply to jobs, no one is sitting in a corner anymore looking at your resume saying, oh yes, we're going to take that person. Your resumes now are going through what is called an automatic tracking system. So your resume is being looked at by a computer. And that computer is looking at your resume and looking at the words on your resume and looking at the job description to make sure that what you have on your resume matches that job description. Well, let me tell you how to combat that. When you look at that job description and it says your preferred skills, because most job descriptions are going to tell you these are the things that we prefer. You make sure that on your resume, there is something on your resume that has those preferred skills. It doesn't have to be all of them. They may have 10 preferred skills. You need to have at least one of them on there. So while you're going to have one resume, I suggest having 3. I have about 7, because you want a kitchen sink resume that's going to give you all the information. You want a 1-page resume, and then you want a 2-page resume. You should not have a 4- and 5-page resume unless you're going to be working in academia. Undergrad should not have a 4- and 5-page resume. The most you can have is 2 pages, but they prefer 1. And when you have 1-page resume, what that means is you got to take all the important things out of your resume and put it on that 1 page. But guess what? You won't be doing it alone. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you do that. There is no excuse to have a bad resume at Texas Southern University. There is absolutely no excuse to have a bad resume here. We are not the Career Center of old. We are in a digitalized era, and we are ready for every student at Texas Southern University to get and to embark on that new career path and the platform that you want to be on. But I can tell you, stay off Instagram looking what everybody else is doing, because you can't feed yourself if you're worried about what everybody else is doing. You keep your head down and you do what you need to do. So the day you get the job and the day that you can move forward, then you can post your stuff on Instagram. But stay off of it until that, and stop looking at everybody else's food, because everybody is different. And everybody who tells you that, oh, I'm doing it for the gram, everybody ain't saved, everybody ain't telling the truth. And so sometimes you get on there and you say, why am I not progressing? Why am I not? The truth is, they may not be either. So I don't know a better way to do it. I tell you, I'm not good at sugarcoating, and I will not sugarcoat, because I want you to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I want you to know that every student at Texas Southern University is capable of success. I truly 100% believe that with every being in my body. But I know also is you have to do something in order to get to that success. So you got to take that first step. Again, our motto is this: providing opportunities within everyone's reach. But again, you have to reach, because if you don't, nothing will happen. Again, thank you so much. And I'll open it back up for questions. And that's all I have to say.
Come on now. We have any questions? Because you're blessing my heart, Director Boyce, as usual. Again, your purpose, you are truly purpose-driven for the success of our students. You've always been that way. since day one. I've met you some years ago. And again, you always want to make sure that our students have what they need to progress. And so I thank you. I really do appreciate what you're doing, not just for myself, but what you're doing for Texas Southern University. I think it's truly awesome. So I don't know if we have any further questions before, because I know your time is valuable, because you got to get back and do your thing. I know you probably got a line already now wrapped around the building, because they know where to go now. There's no excuse, because we do understand that the location has changed. And so thank you again. I don't know if you have anything coming up. I know we're trying to work things out for our career fair. If it's not this week, we'll have something coming down the pipe. You've already mentioned that, just based on the changes. So is there anything else we need to be looking out for that's coming up on the calendar?
Absolutely. We have the Texas Job Fair, and that's going to be coming up the first week in April. So I'll be sending out something about that that's coming up, that about the Texas Job Fair. It's a virtual event, and that's for every student and alumni at Texas Southern University. It is part of a consortium with all 13 schools, local schools, and it's called the Houston Area Consortium of Career Centers, and that's including U of H, Rice University, Texas A&M Galveston, Prairie View. We get together every year and have a major job fair. And so this is our major job fair. And so what we'll do is we'll be sending that information out for you to participate in that job fair. We also have, if you are a TSU student, and if you have secured the bag for an internship or full-time opportunity, we are going to have an event called Career Signing Day. It's in the same vein as these athletes who go and get these great opportunities from the Mavericks, from the Houston Rockets, and those things. It's going to be in that same way. So if you have secured a job and or internship, please check your emails. It will be at the end of the month of April, and it will be a sit-down dinner, because we want to honor you for your hard work, tenacity, and grit. So make sure you check your email, and we want to highlight you as well. So every student that attends will be getting a picture of themselves along with the logo next to them of where they'll be going. And those pictures will be going out nationwide, because we're going to be sending them out through our Instagram, through our social media, through TSU News. So everybody will get to see the greatness that I know that you are. So please stay tuned for that. Please check your emails. We're trying to make sure that we got the correct date, because we know that the president's having her program on the 30th. That was our original date. So we're trying to move our date a little bit, but we want you to know, we want to celebrate you. If you do not have a job or an internship and you are a senior about to graduate, it behooves you, I don't know a better way to say it, it behooves you to make your appointment with the Career Center so we can help you get there. It is not too late. Hey guys, it is never too late. What we know for sure is you're gonna graduate. And do we know you're gonna get a job? Yes, you're gonna eventually get a job. But would you want one sooner? Yes, you would. You won't wanna be out there for, if you graduate without a job, it takes 6 to 9 months to get a job. If you graduate without one, that's the average it takes. We want to shorten that. And the best way we can shorten that is helping you get on Handshake, start applying for every job, start looking out there, and then start navigating your career path. But you got, again, you have to do something. And that's what we're here for, to help you navigate that path. We know that it's scary. We know that sometimes you don't understand it. We know that sometimes everybody takes the path of least resistance at one point in their life, and this just may be your time. But it's our job to help you get back on track, and that's what we love, and that is what our drive is. Not just my drive, but my staff members' drive. Miss Okoli, Miss Polk, that's their drive as well. It's our job to help you get to that next step. And we would love nothing more than to see you walk across that stage. One hand with your diploma and the job in the other hand. Nothing is better than that. And that's what we want for you. So it's our job to help you do that. And that's what we want to do.
That's what I'm talking about. Outstanding. We really do love that signing day. And I see you, Professor Childress, Dr. Childress, mentioning that signing day is a great idea. We should have at least, at the minimum, 50 running your way. because I know they're loading up on these internships. I'm so proud of what our students are doing. They're getting after it. They're passionate. There's also some that need that push, but that's all right. That's why we're here. But we have a number of students that are doing wonderful things, great things, and we want to showcase what they're doing in the School of Communication.
Absolutely.
Someone asked, can we come to the Career Center for headshots as far as professional
Absolutely.
headshots? Okay.
We do headshots on Fridays. So it's every Friday we do headshots from Linda to 12 to 2. We do headshots from 12 to 2. See, we are in a smaller office. I can just say across the way. We are from 12 to 2. We do headshots every Friday. So come by on Friday for your headshots. Again, this is not a glamour session. So we're not going to do 25 shots. We're going to do some good headshots, and then we're going to move you on your way so you can do the next thing, which is putting your headshot on LinkedIn account, on your LinkedIn, and start working on your professional development. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you do not have a resume available and ready, I'm going to want to ask you about that resume. So make sure when you do that headshot, because there's no point of having a LinkedIn headshot if you don't have nowhere to go. There's no point of having no LinkedIn headshot if you don't have a resume that's ready. Because there's no point of you getting a suit if you have no job to go to. And if you have no job to go to, a suit is just a suit. So whenever you don your suit, I call it donning. Whenever we don our suit, make sure you have a mission. So I'm wearing this suit today, but today is the day I'm going to reach out to some employers. B, talk to my professor because I'm dressed up now and he's going to take me serious, or she's going to take me serious. 3, get my grades right. I can't stress that enough. Get my grades right, because in the Career Center, we don't care if you have a 2.0 or a 4.0. We're going to help you. But the employers care. Again, if you have blue hair, blue is my favorite color, but you can't have blue hair because the employer's not going to take you serious. So I'm telling you those little nuggets to get you ready, because when you come into the office and you hear it from me or one of my staff members, you won't be shocking to you. Once you walk in that door, it is no sugarcoating. We need to get you from A to D, and we're going to do it kicking and screaming. We're going to pull you whether you want to go or not, because that's what makes our university great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. How about a little clap, y'all? Come on, show us some love. You can do better than that. Now, if you were in the classroom, I tell my students, if you're not clapping, I'm taking off points. Come on now. So again, I thank you again for all that you do. I know you're busy. Thank you for giving us a little of your time. Thank you for that information. We're going to move on that. Some of my colleagues were asking about certain things, and I'm glad that they're here with us. That way they can launch this out to their students as well, because my spectrum may be a little limited in my area, but when I have the School of Communication with me, there's really no excuse for us not to really be a major player when it comes to sending our students your way for their professional development. So outstanding, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. So I know your time is valuable, because I see another name on here that truly needs no introduction. So Director Boyce, you can stick around if you want, but if you have to leave, we truly understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. But I do see someone, a picture came up too as well. Someone, I think I have a few notes here. This individual has a BS from the University of Houston in political science, a master's in organizational management, a master's in education, a doctorate in education. Formerly, she was the office manager for the Workforce Solutions, as well as Houston Works, as well as Interface Woodlands. So this is something she does as far as providing opportunities for individuals from all walks of life. She's also taught in the school district for a number of years, and she's currently the manager for the University of Houston. Y'all, I'm talking about U of H, the main campus, right down the street. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that other institution, but the manager primarily in human resources. And I've known this individual for quite some time, maybe about 30 years, but I've been married to her for 27 years, y'all. Come on now, a little clap on that. But I want to say this is the individual when my first assignment in all of my classes have been, give me your resume. That's the first assignment, whether it was the undergrad business professional communication class, that 100 level, that first level class, that freshman class? Are you talking about the upper level courses? Give me your resume. I just want to see what you have. And she is the one that will look at them. If I look at them one way, she's going to look at them another way. And that's what we need. We need those eyes of someone that's in the industry that's pulling these resumes. What do you see? So again, y'all, we have someone on the line. Honey, I just love what you've been doing for me. You've been doing it for me since day one, and you are with me now. So how about a little clap, y'all, for Dr. Nikki Duncan. Come on, y'all, clap her up, Dr. Duncan. Do you have anything? Because you've been coming to the class and you've been talking to all of my classes. So just in general, I know your time is very valuable. So thank you for pulling out some time for us. So appreciate you.
No, thank you for having me. And I want to say that I was able to listen in a little bit on what was just being said by Career Services, and I stamp it with 100% approval. As an employer, you know, some of the things that we tend to see, you know, nowadays, especially in this digital age, is that it's really, I'm going to say, a little hard for some individuals to actually apply for jobs because they really don't understand what this digital age is offering or has put in front of them, because we've changed. You know, a long time ago, people would mail resumes in, or you would fill out a paper application. You know, fast forward to where we are today, everything's electronic. And if you don't know how to use a computer, you need to get to a library. If you don't know how to attach a document, you need to get to Career Services so they can show you how to attach your resume. But what I want to say is that people really need to be mindful of the types of softwares that they're using actually to update or attach resumes onto the system. One of the things that we're noticing here at the University of Houston is, of course, you can use Word, of course, you can use you know, even PowerPoint for some, because some people will use PowerPoint, you know, or a PDF file. But what we're seeing is that there's some people who will only use certain types of software. And like, for example, and I'm just going to use it as an example, Pages is a software that is only used by Apple. Well, the problem is if the companies that you're applying for don't use Apple, they can't open up Pages. So the best thing to do is to stick to an actual Word document or PDF. And I'm saying that on purpose because those are universal. What Apple has to offer, while they have great products, the key to it is what they have in terms of the system softwares that they're using are not necessarily compatible with everything that everybody's using. And if you happen to send your resume in for someone to look at and it's in Pages and they can't open it, basically you just didn't apply for the job. You applied because we know where you put in the work, but if we don't have anything to look at, then you technically didn't apply for the job. So you really want to pay attention because it is on those applicant tracking systems, which I know Career Services alluded to, that says this is what we are compatible with, this is what we use, because when those systems, those computer systems scan the resume for the actual keywords that are in those job descriptions, if you're using a software that's not compatible with the system, they can't see anything but a blank page. So you're not even being considered. So don't shoot yourself in the foot by not doing the research up front to determine whether or not it can be used or can't be used. And I say that because while you apply, you can sit here and say, well, it accepted my document. It'll accept it because it's an attachment. The difference is when someone goes in to look at it, or when a computer system goes to screen it, they're able to open it up, but it gives them a blank page. So you want to make sure that you're putting yourself out there to be seen and not so much putting yourself out there to make it look like you did not follow instructions or pay attention to what is actually on those particular websites. I'm saying that on purpose because I see it day in and day out, and I can look at somebody's application because that's a form within the system. But when I go to the resume and can't see the resume, I can take the time to call the individual, but do I? That really is dependent upon the time that I have, because when you look at someplace like the University of Houston that receives over 1,000 applications a week, and I've got over 400 jobs that are posted, you do the math and you could tell, you know what, these are a lot of applications coming through, a lot of resumes to be combed through. And to be honest, we don't use the system the way private industry does to screen. Your screeners happen to be individuals like myself, and we read every single one that comes through. So we are not the norm. The norm would be that a computer system would do it, but we like to add the personal touch, because if I need to reach out to somebody, I can, to say, this is what you're missing. That doesn't happen everywhere, but I understand, just as Ms. Boyce is talking about, we care about the student. I may not necessarily be in career services and I'm in human resources, but I'm sitting on a gold mine of students who are getting ready to graduate. I want to do the best that I can to help them facilitate the process of going into their next career. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but I know that I don't want to screen them out I'm gonna say intentionally, but because of the fact that they weren't able to upload something or they weren't able to do something. So we reach out to those individuals, but you won't get that in private industry. Private industry, either you applied or you didn't, or you did it the right way, you didn't. And if you did it and it didn't go through, the only thing that they're going to say is that you didn't pay attention to the details. And if you didn't pay attention to the details, why would I want to hire you? Because this job is going to require that you pay attention to the details. So you want to look at those, because sometimes the subtle things talk louder about you than anything else. You may have the qualifications for the job. It may be on the resume, but sometimes it's those subtle things that are extra that if you don't pay attention to, it says a lot about you. And it typically will say a lot, it'll ring a lot louder than what you may have actually listed on your resume. One of the other things that, I think that is important is that if you all do not take advantage of an internship, there's something wrong. And I say that on purpose because a lot of jobs that I see, not just at the University of Houston, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've been in private industry, I've been in nonprofit, I've been in public. And the thing is, if a position says that it requires a bachelor's and let's say 3 years of relevant work history, the key to it is your work experience is not, oh, I had 3 years working someplace. That work experience, they're looking at, have you done something for 3 years in what it is that you've actually applied for? Most of us have had jobs in college. I worked retail. I've worked at grocery stores. I did work on campus through work study. I've done all of that, but none of that would say that, oh, I qualified to be in the current position I'm in today. Now, is it work experience? Yes. Is it a work history to show that I'm consistent in keeping a job and doing well in a job? Yes. But what I did in those jobs are not relatable to my current position, which means it wouldn't necessarily count. But what would count, did I get an internship in an area in which I'm getting my degree in? Because your degree says where you want to go. But if you've never done it, you can't expect to get a 6-figure job and the job is requiring a bachelor's and 5 years of experience. You really need to look at it. When did I go after some of that experience? And that's what career services is speaking about. There are many internships out there that people just don't take the time to apply for. And then when it's time and it's needed, they're like, well, I didn't do it. Well, now we got to start from the bottom. Okay, you're starting from the bottom because you didn't put in the necessary work to elevate yourself to the next level. And most of us don't want to come out of college making the lowest amount of money that's out there, because a lot of us do have student loans that we're paying back. Some of us are non-traditional students, and so they may have families that they're having to take care of. In that case, you want to make sure that you're starting off at least in the middle range. Because I'll tell you, a lot of companies, including here at the university, they will post a range. And let's say that range is anywhere, and I'm going to use just an hourly figure. Let's say that range is anywhere from $15 an hour to $30 an hour, where most of us are going and we're going to go in and ask for the $30 an hour. We all love to make 30 an hour. But the idea ends up being, do you have the qualifications already to get the 30 an hour? And the way the range works is this. If that position requires a bachelor's degree and no experience, you won't make 30. You will make whatever that bottom range is, because that's what the bottom range represents. 30 means maybe I've got 10 years of experience. Maybe I've got 5 years of experience. There's a range that people look at when it comes down to human resources within the companies when they're setting salaries. You have to climb up that ladder in order to get to that point. So the starting point won't be 30. Starting point is always at the bottom. So pay attention to that range. So if the position says a bachelor's and 1 year of experience and you have the one, know that you won't be at the top of the range. But usually for every 3 to 5 years of experience in that industry, okay, you climb up the ladder more money. Okay, that's what that looks like. So, and I have a lot of graduates, and they'll tell me, well, Ms. Duncan, I really want to make, 25 an hour. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. That's great. But for the position in which you're applying for, this is what you would qualify for. And we have to give the hard truth, because this is what it looks like in the real world. If somebody's already in that position, let's say there's two vacancies and there's one person already in the position. So they need two total to make, I want to say, all of their employees in that particular area. And you got one, the employee that's there has been there 20 years. And if that employee that's there has been there 20 years, and let's say they're making 30 an hour, and you're coming in and you ask for 30 an hour and you only have 1 year of experience, is it fair that you get 30 and they get 30? And for those of you with not much experience, be like, yeah, it's fair. Well, put yourself in the shoes of the person who's been there 20 years, who has to train you. Is it fair that they're training somebody making just as much money as they are or more? That's when you sit back and you say no. So it's an equity issue. This is a real issue. This is not something made up. It's called equity. Companies will look at equity to make sure that the person with the most experience technically should be making more money than the person with the least amount of experience in that particular area. That's what that looks like. Unless you're starting off like in a retail, which usually has an assigned level, which means you've never, let's say you're working at Walmart, you may come in making $15 an hour, but I can promise you the cashier that's been there probably 3 years is making more than the 15. Okay. So usually there's a set individuals coming in, never done it before, it's 15. In career settings, in terms of private industry, beyond a retail setting now, unless you're in a manager setting at Walmart, that's a different story. But in terms of going the next level, what ends up happening is that they have to look at your experience. They look at your education. Okay. And sometimes they give you credit for more education, meaning you have a master's or a doctorate, but that's per industry and per position. Like if you go into education, it will go up. And when I say education, I mean in K through 12, what you make as a first year teacher as a bachelor's versus a first year teacher and a master's is different, because they award education that way. Not all industry will do that, because basically if you got the bachelor's, that's great. You got a master's, that's great too, but you got the bachelor's and that's all that was needed. And then your years of experience. But where it'll come into play is that some places will accept education in lieu of experience, which means if you have a master's degree, you get an additional 2 years added onto the experience to help you qualify for the job. Okay, so that's what it looks like. But understand, equity is a real issue. They're going to look at it to make sure everybody is being equitably paid within that organization based on your education and based on your experience as it relates to that particular position. Okay, so think about it. If you're not taking advantage of these internships, you need to jump on them. 1 internship is better than none. 2 internships is better than 1, and so forth. The more experience you gain, the better. And here's the best part about internships as well. If you do an awesome job, sometimes those internships turn into your careers at the exact same company. You don't know who you're networking with when you are on these internships. So this internship may be non-paid, but you need to act like you're being paid. You give 100% of who you are in this position. Don't act like, oh, because they're not paying me, I'll show up when I feel like it. Don't do that. I promise you, you don't know who they know. And you don't know where your future direction may be headed. And how do you know that the future direction you're going to may not necessarily, or they could, know the individuals that you did maybe a poor job in an internship because you didn't take it seriously because there was no money value associated with it. You got to look at it differently. Those internships can pad the next pathway to your career, and word of mouth tends to be a lot heavier than when it comes down to, oh, this is what my resume looks like. Okay. They teach you in marketing 101. It may take you a long time to win over a customer, but it only takes 2 seconds to lose them. And a lot of times that happens through bad customer service. So you want to make sure you give your all in all through it, because when you give your all in all, your work ethic will show. How you pick up jobs in terms of, do you learn quickly? Are you able to take things and run with it? Be very creative with it. That's going to show. And these individuals become your references for the next position. And even if they're not, you don't know who they know. Because a lot of doors I know for me opened up, not because I applied for a job, but because of word of mouth, she does a great job. And next thing you know, they're like, we think we want to offer you this. Not because I applied, but only because of who I worked for. So you want to make sure that you do a great job everywhere you go, because your reputation and your character will follow you no matter where you are. Okay. And the thing is, when you show people who they are or who you are, they're going to believe you. It's not what's written on a piece of paper. So if you show up at an internship and you do a great job, they believe you'll do a great job anywhere. But if you show up at an internship and halfway do what you need to do, they're going to believe that's who you are. So you just gave them a piece of your character, whether it's right or wrong. Okay, so keep that in mind, because I hear it all day long. And when I say all day long, we check references. And if you think there's no such thing as a bad reference, we have plenty of people that don't get jobs based on their reference. And it's not like they slammed the individual saying they're a bad person. All they did was talk about their work ethic. You show up late all the time, that's work ethic. So whatever you do in an internship, do it well. Okay, do it well. Any questions so far?
Let's see, I don't see any questions in the chat. Again, this is outstanding words of wisdom, the real talk. I'm loving it. This is what you've been doing for me for years when you come in and speak to my classes, my dear wife. So I just want to thank you for keeping it real. Thank you for assisting our students, because you not only have helped them with resumes and things of that nature, but also job placement. I know you're not a temp agent, but you also would take the time out and place some of the students who were looking for positions, not just at the University of Houston, but just in areas as they transition and just needing help. So I want to thank you for that as well. So you've been doing the resumes and looking at resumes of our students for years. Have you noticed anything that kind of stands out year after year, what you have to kind of come through and acknowledge, if you will, as far as what needs to be changed up on our students' resumes?
That's a really good question. I think one of the things that I will bring out is people need to be careful with pictures. If it's not a professional headshot, don't put it on your resume. And I say that because people are still doing selfies, and they're doing selfies in the wrong places and putting them on the resume, or they're doing glamour shots as if they are modeling at the park. It has no purpose. Plus, you have to be really, really careful. And when I say really careful, if the industry you're going in doesn't require a headshot, don't put your picture on the resume. It's that simple. It is that simple. Me seeing who you are is not going to get you a leg up in a position here at the University of Houston. It just isn't. Okay. If you're not in an industry that doesn't require a picture, don't do it. Some people do it because they're like, oh, I want them to see me who I am. Okay. But understand, and I say this to everybody, but the thing is, it's very hard to prove. You don't know the preferences of the individual reviewing all of that stuff. Okay. And if these preferences of the individual is not favorable, okay, towards, let's say, somebody with purple hair and you have purple hair, then they're going to automatically leave you out to be considered, even though you are the best person for the job. So you want to eliminate any factors. What you want to do is make sure your resume, and I tell people all the time, the resume is like a preview to a movie. Resume needs to be tight. Once it's tight and it gets sent in, if they like it, they're going to call you in, or sometimes they'll do a phone screen. We do phone screens a lot of times. So that's a longer trailer to the movie. The actual big trailer, the one you typically see when you get in, because you know trailers can be cut down into timing. When you actually go to the movie theater and it's a lot longer, you get a little more of what the movie's about. That's going to be your interview. I would rather have purple hair, go into the interview and they see me with purple hair there, but they have to hear me first in terms of what I have to say about my skills and ability. And hopefully they can see past the purple hair. But if they see it on the resume, they're going to automatically say no. Okay. Now I use purple hair because that's generic, but I can break that down to race. I can break that down to religion. I can break that down to age. I can break it down in any of the categories that people can discriminate against. And you can pick up those pieces a lot of times on a photo. You're allowing somebody's perception to now dictate what they're going to do with your resume. I don't want a perception on me. I need them to judge me based on my skills and abilities once I get to the interview, not prior to. So I'm not going to put anything on my resume that's going to allow me to be judged a certain kind of way. While their judgment may be incorrect, it is a perception that people will have, but keep in mind, people's perceptions are their realities. So I don't want to live in their reality. I need them guessing all the way through until after the interview. And if I bomb the interview, that's one thing. But at least I got to be heard. Okay, that's the way I see it. So I see a lot of pictures on the resumes. I still see a lot of people who put high school on the resume, and I understand it. But once you're in college, high school can be taken off. It means nothing anymore. If you don't have any college at all, high school is the highest that you've completed, then you would leave it on there. But the idea is once you've been admitted into Texas Southern and you start taking college hours, you are now a Texas Southern University student. You have an expected graduation date, as well as you have I'm going to say at the time, your perceived major, because you may change the major a couple of times. But if you do, update what that looks like. Okay. Sometimes I see resumes that are turned in and they don't even have Texas Southern written on them. It's all high school and update it every time you send out that resume. And I think I heard Director Boyd say something about at least have 3 resumes and she had about 7. That's accurate. You're going to update your resume because if you're reading a job description and they have preferred skills and you don't have those preferred skills listed, but yet you know how to do them, you're going to update it again. So that may be resume number 4. You may see another job and have to do the same thing. That may be resume number 5. You're going to constantly keep updating that resume through the lifetime of your career. Okay? Because anytime it becomes outdated, then that says your skills are outdated. And you all know how quickly technology is changing, how quickly even industries are changing. You can ask an engineer today who got their degree 20 years ago and an engineer just graduating, and you can tell there's a difference in some of the things that they're being taught as we are now getting to the point where we've got all these technological advancements. Okay, so you have to stay current. I heard her talk about, I want to say it was certifications and things like that can be taken on LinkedIn. Take advantage of those because all that will help pad the resume. We're going beyond my hobbies. What hobbies do I have? To be honest, those are great, but are you going to do your hobby at work? And the answer to that question is half the time, no. It just shows that you have some interest. And eventually, like my resume, my hobbies are no longer listed. I have enough career experience to put on my resume that my hobbies are no longer needed. Okay, so you have to look at it from the standpoint that things have to fall off. I don't have the same jobs on my resume as I did when I was in high school. It had to fall off. Okay, so typically you're going to look at your resume for about a 10-year span in terms of your career, but I'm not going to tell you to stick to that because my career is over 10 years and I do that on purpose. My resume has all of that because I don't want to sell myself short based on compensation. Okay, because they award you compensation based on your years of experience. And if I only go 10 years and I got 20, I'm getting paid for 10 years of experience versus 20. And so, that dollar amount looks different because remember, I already told y'all how they look at those things. So it's one of those things to where you want to just look at it from different perspectives and be open-minded to what feedback you get from your resume. When you go talk to Director Boyce about the resume, be open-minded. Don't say, well, I have to do it this way. No, it's going to change. I promise you 2 years from now. And it's going to change another 2 years from then and so forth. Because the way we do resumes today is not how we did them 5 years ago. It's not how we did them 10 years ago. Even it has evolved. Any other questions?
I see a question, my love. I know your time is valuable. It says from Ms. Colvin, how do you put radio, television, film production from class on a resume without having an internship? So can we use classes? Can we place them as far as, because some of our classes in the School of Communication are very detailed oriented. I mean, they're getting so much out of it. Some of our professors, of course, are dynamic in the industry and they're bringing our students right along with them. So is there ways to use some of the classes? Because I know a lot of our students don't have that experience. They haven't gotten that internship that they want yet. So how can we do that if that's possible?
So it is possible. So what you want to do is make sure that you have when I say the highlights, the most important pieces that were learned in that particular class, as well as if it's tied to a particular, and I'm going to use the word software because Everything's technological nowadays. So there may be something specific as it relates to radio, TV, and film that you're using, or even if you go towards film production, are there certain types of like cameras or certain types of other tools that are used that are very specific, meaning if you were to put it on a resume, I may not know what it means, but people in the industry know exactly what that means. You want to make sure you have a skills section. So you're listing what that software, those tools, those resources are. And then you can put underneath it, you know, the classes that you took that actually accompany you learning those skills. Okay. What I would say is that you're going to use that now to move forward in making sure that you get those internships in radio, TV. What I would also do is look at it from this perspective. Don't sit back and wait for it to say internship. How many of you have actually picked up the phone, called a radio station and asked, could you volunteer? Okay, think about it from a different perspective. Some of you may be waiting for the word internship. If I volunteer somewhere long enough, couldn't you say that I'm gaining work experience? And the answer to that is yes. Now, I would never list that as a volunteer on my resume. I won't say volunteer, okay? Because sometimes volunteer means, oh, I may have showed up only an hour and that was it. If you're putting your time in, you can put that it may be informal. It's not a formal one, but it's an informal internship is what you would call that, okay? Because you want to gain the experience. You can call around to different places and ask them, do you have volunteer opportunities? I want to see what you all do and learn the trade, but I need to see it from a different perspective. And you will be surprised, some of them that will say yes. Now, especially now we're coming off the back end of COVID. If we were in the heart of COVID, I would tell you they probably wouldn't do it. But on the back end of COVID, you may see more and more opportunities that come available in terms of volunteering your time. As well as if you haven't volunteered at KTSU, call them up, see if they have any volunteer slots to be able to do so. Any little bit of experience that you can get is better than no experience. Because here's the thing, with the stuff that you're learning in radio, TV, I can almost guarantee you as the technology continues to advance, if you don't use it, you lose the skill, okay? Now you may not know how to use it, but you need to practice on it. You need to be able to use it to the point to where you know it in and out. That way, when the updates come with the technology, you're not having to relearn something you used to know how to do and apply it to something new. So you want to make sure that you are actually putting those pieces together, but don't necessarily wait. You can call around and you'll be surprised. I've had students to call around, they got volunteer and they liked it so much, the companies turned them into interns. Okay, so, but you have to be creative. Don't wait for it to happen. Don't wait for it to fall in your lap. You got to go sometimes seeking after it. But that's a really good question.
That's dynamic. That's what I'm talking about. So we have some go-getters in the School of Communication. Many of our students are getting after it. I know many of them are seeking these internships so to gain that knowledge. I know some are just getting the internship because they're trying to figure out exactly what they want to do. If it's really that the specific skills that they're looking for as far as in their major areas. So again, this is great information that you're providing. I know you always come in and talk about and break down the resumes. I know our time is limited, but I just want to thank you for what you're doing and what you continue to do. Not only for me, y'all, because when you got a superstar in the house, you got to use it. Y'all with me? And so that makes life so much easier for me when it comes to that. But also she's real about certain things, and she's also passionate. I can't use that word anymore. Purposeful for assisting our students to go to that next level. So even though she works at U of H, y'all, she's also my co-announcer at the TSU Relays. So you can see we got Kissed by the Sun this weekend. So she is passionate about Texas Southern. Children together have gone through Texas Southern. So she knows what it's all about, what we're dealing with, what we're working through. And so again, thank you very much. I don't know if you have anything else that you address, anything else that you need to address as far as the resume quickly before we close out, because I know I've been hearing your dings going on, so I know they're reaching for you. So is there anything else that kind of stands out on the resume quickly, and then we'll let you go?
Not so much on the resume, but I will just give this last piece. Make sure that you all do your homework on the companies that you're doing interviews on, because a lot of times what we see too, I have people that interview well, but they come to the interview looking like they're not prepared. And what I mean by that is you need to invest at least one suit. I'm saying that on purpose. I heard was it Director Boyd say the same thing? I'm saying it on purpose because it may be a relaxed dressed environment, but what is relaxed to you may be different to somebody else. And if they wear jeans every day, I promise you, there's a difference between the person that shows up in a suit versus the person that shows up in a pair of jeans. They carry themselves different. There's a confidence that comes with it, and they just seem to be a little more prepared. Now, that may be a misperception, but keep in mind, you at this point are representing a brand. I used to tell people all the time, it's like showing up to an interview at Nike and I'm wearing Adidas. It's representing a brand. They're competitors. Why would I do that? So if you show up polished, they treat you polished. If you show up polished, they listen to you more intently when you are. But if you show up a certain kind of way, I promise you it's a distraction. It really is. And I've had hiring managers that said, you know what he or she was saying was really, really good. But you know what? I have a feeling they would come to work dressed like that, and we may have to get on to them about dress code. They eliminate these things because they don't want conflict in the workplace. So then they go with what looks safe. My rule of thumb is show up in a suit for the interview. Once you get the job, if it's relaxed, then you can then narrow it down to what it is that you like to wear. But until then, show that you're the best, talk like you're the best, act like you're the best. And then what ends up happening is typically those doors tend to open up a little bit better for you. And then just keep in mind, whatever you're looking for is at the same time looking for you. So what is right, that door will open. What is not, more than likely that door will close. So don't sit back and be upset because the door closed, because you don't know what you were being saved from. So look at it from the perspective of what you want is where you want to be able to say, I can work here today. I can work here tomorrow. I could possibly work here 5 years from now, but you don't want to go someplace where you work today and at the end of the first day, you're like, why did I do this? So keep that in mind when it comes down to it. Everything you're looking for is at the same time looking for you, and those doors will open at the right time.
All right. All right. We don't have any questions to go. There are a couple going to be emailing me their resume.
Okay.
So you'll get to chop it up a little bit. That's what I'm talking. I'll look at it, but you're going to chop it up. So I appreciate you, honey. Dinner's on me tonight. You know how it is. I got to keep your wife happy, keep your life happy. Can I get an amen? Somebody know what I'm talking about. So thank you again for all that you do. Again, thank you for your purpose and what you do for our students throughout the years. So you're dynamic, and I mean that. And I love you to the bottom of my heart, and they're back. So again, I got your dinner. I got it. We're going to make it happen. Well, at least I'm going to ask you what you want. You know what I'm saying? Somebody understands what I'm talking about. So I know we're getting close, and I know we have something coming up. So you're free to go, honey. Love you.
Love you too.
God bless. A little clap. Everybody's clapping. I hear them. But we will be back because we're closing out this session now, our Career Power Hour. So it was an hour plus 30 minutes. But you're free to go. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
But I want to mention, bye-bye. Love you.
Love you too.
We want to mention to the audience that we're going to be back at 1 Central Standard Time. David Butler, Cam Lee, superstars, future makers in production will be presenting. That's what I'm talking about. So I want to thank my colleagues and the co-chairs, Professor Mitchell, Professor Randall, Kimberly Mitchell, LaDonia Randall, for what they mean to the School of Communication. They are truly dynamic. To our distinguished dean again, Dr. Raquel Brown-Burden, the associate dean, Dr. Chris Ulasi, assistant dean, Sabrina Sanford Walker. We have some heavy hitters in the School of Communication. There is no excuse that we don't go to another level, y'all. Y'all with me? You can make it at Texas Southern University. I'm telling you, you can do it. So no excuse. Excuses are tools which are used by the incompetent. They build bridges to nowhere, represent monuments of nothingness. Those who specialize in their use are seldom capable of anything. Don't be an excuse maker, all right? And you don't have to be great to start, but start so you can be great. That's all I'm asking. So thank you all. Again, we're getting ready for the summer internship class. The deadline is going to be at the end of April, and I can get that information to you. Just email me. I'll put my email in the chat, and I can get that information. Some students are blowing me up right now. Want to make sure they didn't miss the deadline. No, the deadline for summer is at the end of April, and then we can get you in the class. That's COM 430, Experiential Learning, the internship class. If you want to make it, wait till the fall. The deadline is in June, the end of June, and you can take the internship class in the fall. And so if you're waiting till next spring, the deadline will be October. So I can get all that information to you. But go after it. Again, y'all, we have so many internship opportunities come our way, and we don't want to lose them because people aren't just applying for them. But make sure if you do apply that you're professional, and we talk about that now. So you want to make sure that you follow through on your word. And so, because you're not just reflecting yourself, you're reflecting the School of Communication and Texas Southern University. So I want to say I thank you all. Thank you for your time. I was thinking